What an extraordinary week we've had already. The speakers have just given us so much information, and I hope, like me, that you have just been overwhelmed by the amount of learning and particularly the application of the learning to our everyday lives. Because as you and I travel into tomorrow, we know that the rhythm of the way we have to work is changing dramatically. And these few weeks from these incredible speakers are all about how that rhythm might be now and what that future landscape looks like. And in that vein, my name's Maurice Mizalowski. I'm a business futurist, and I look forward to speaking with you and meeting you all in about a week to 10 days when you and I take the journey into a post-COVID world. But for right now, our conversation today again is the most practical of conversations. It is about the numbers, the figures, getting our businesses and our lives financially right and attuned to what tomorrow might look like, making sure we're doing now what we need to do to make sure that tomorrow is as successful as it can be. And there is only one person on the planet that I would want to hear about from the numbers, and that's David Jaffe, someone I've had the pleasure of knowing for over a decade, who is truly an accountant's accountant. And from him we'll understand the numbers and what we need to do and what we need to be on top of. And if that wasn't enough, matching that is Laurent, who's going to take us on a strategic view into tomorrow, who is a growth expert, who's going to explain to us what to do with those numbers, how to interpret them, and how to put them into application. I'd love you along the way, as you're listening to these incredible insights, to pop some questions at the bottom of your screen. You'll see that there's a chat button down there. If you put your questions into that space, and at the end of your conversation with David and Laurent, I'll come back and we'll have a chat between all of us and work through your questions. But for right now, let's hand over to our two guest speakers. Enjoy and learn.
Thank you, Maurice.
Thank you, Maurice. And we look forward to your presentation in 10 days' time too, which will also be very inspiring. I just wanted to touch on what you also mentioned about this week's speakers and recap for us. On Monday, we heard from Chloe, who spoke about goal setting and the challenges she had in getting to 31 crossings of swimming the English Channel. A truly inspiring person, and she explained how it was about setting her goals and visualizing where she was going. On Tuesday, we had Tim talk about difficult conversations in this environment and how we're going to, where the opportunities lie in having those discussions because it clears the air. Wednesday, we had real talk. The main thing I got out of that was the opportunity again, and to be not the victim of today, but the architect of your future. And yesterday, Daryl spoke about customer relationships and customer experience. And today is about the accountability and measurement of what you've done by setting your goals, going and dealing with your customers and looking after them and nurturing them in this environment, and getting to, and this will be the actual result. The model was, and I think the topic is a bit of a misnomer, there could be more than one financial model, and you have to be nimble because things will change dramatically whilst we're going through this, and at the end of it, things may not be what we expect them to be. You have to be prepared, and that's what we're going to talk about today.
Thank you, David. My name is Laurent, and I'm a business advisor by experience and expertise, and an entrepreneur by passion. And this morning, we're gonna go through the financial model. I just started to share the screen, and it looks like it's playing with me a bit of a game. We had a bit of technological challenges on Monday, but today again, and here is just a little of our background. David, that is a chartered accountant and has been running his own practice since over 40 years. And me, my background, I've been on advisory with Ernst & Young in Melbourne during 5 years. And since 2012, I've been running my own show and involved in plenty of several businesses. So I got this two hats, the hat of an advisor to help you, entrepreneurs, startup, SMEs, but as well, I've got my hat of entrepreneur with my own business and venture. So we're going to start off with one thing that is really crucial in business and to really get the foundation right. And it is what is the best structure for your venture. So David, maybe we're going to start with what is the best structure for your venture and what about asset protection?
So when we talk about a structure, I usually want to know what the exit strategy is, because it's very easy to go into a business today. It's just a matter of set yourself up. Everyone wants to make it easy. But the real question is, when you want to exit, have I got the right structure in place to do that from a tax perspective? And along that journey, are my assets protected? So there are various structures available to a business person. And one thing that I've learned is that if you want to change direction afterwards, then it can be administratively a bit of a nightmare, because all of a sudden you've got to get a new ABN, you've got a new bank accounts, new tax registrations, and everything and new stationery, marketing. It's all hard work. So if you can think forward as you do this, then there are benefits later. And some people do, because things change, you've got to be able to adapt as well. And that's going to be a common point through this presentation, is your ability to adapt as things change. And people will go through that pain of changing their structure because it will deliver a better outcome further down the track. But at the same time, we must always be conscious of the asset protection at all times. And there are various strategies that we bring into play to protect our clients.
Correct. It is really important. The foundation and the start of your venture, it's crucial, because after you will have different shareholder, and it doesn't mean that you will have different opinion and different drives in the plate. So what is really crucial, it's all about preparation, get the foundation right, and it's all about, a bit like in business, it's anticipation. And you want to really get your vision forward and see when you're going to exit in 10 years, 15, 20 years, and say, okay, when I'm going to exit, what will be my exit? How is all going to happen? And for that, it's really important to protect your asset. Another very important point is the tax strategy, isn't it, David?
Yes. So that's also part of the whole structure, and it's all a holistic view. So it's not just one point out of the whole thing. You've got to look at the totality of what you're doing in business and what you want in your personal life as well, so that we're not creating conflicts.
Correct, correct. And again, right here, there is a tax strategy, succession, admitting partners, and capital raising. So here, straight away from the start, we are aligning the business model and what is your business model to your financial model. And for the different shareholders, And at the start, if you need to raise capital, it is crucial that your IP is protected, all your assets and tax as well is planned in advance, and you got to strategize that. So it's one thing that is really important. If we move on to financial statement and accounting statement, accounting systems. Integrity of your accounting and reporting system. David, would you like to?
Yes. So if there is issues with your processing of your data, or you work outside on some of these apps to record, do your sales, and you don't have a formalized system to capture them into a holistic software program, you're never going to know the real effect of or impact of what you're doing. So these systems and your accounting software are critical. There's so many times I've looked at financial statements, and the financial statements are your balance sheet, what you owe and what you own, and then there's the profit and loss statement of your performance. If you put something in the wrong place, you could be misinterpreting the results of your business. I look at some clients' balance sheets and they've got a stock figure there. And if it's wrong, it's going to impact the profitability of the business. Not because of anything, it's just putting things in the wrong place gives you a different perspective, and you're making wrong decisions going forward about how to manage the business. So if you're adapting your business for the current trend, you need to know the impact that it's having right now. A lot of people are reporting on JobKeeper every month on their turnover. They're all of a sudden they've had to be very on top of their reporting systems. And so I think the support the government's provided to the business community has shown people the importance of their reporting systems.
Yes, correct indeed. Very much in those last few months, people needed to be at their top of their reporting and financial statement.
Yes.
To be able to get some benefits. Just to leverage on your great words, David. Accounting system and systems in general are crucial in a business. If you really want to have a business that is thriving and growing through this period, it's really important that you got your systems right and accounting system, of course, right. One thing to mention right here is really assess where are your controls in your accounting systems. And there is a very much importance on different the preparer person that is doing the accounting and the reviewer, and the important fact to have the work that is reviewed by another person. So again, financial statement, David explained very well. Balance sheet, it's one picture at a time, and P&L is the activity. Cash flow is really crucial as well, to be at the top of the cash flow, and we'll mention that a bit further. But what I wanted to mention is financial statement is your health check. So really be at the top of it for the well-being and the growth of your business. So talking about balance sheet management and financial performance, that's one big thing that companies need to be at the top of it. Isn't it, David?
That's right. So managing your balance sheet, like I've had a case study recently, one of my clients, they've been booming in this lockdown because they're in gym equipment and road bicycles. And they've basically had Christmas now. And part of that's been managing their balance sheet in terms of their accounts receivable, which didn't blow out because they spoke to me originally and I said, step on your collections, make sure your customers don't go broke on you, owing you more money, because everyone was ordering more from them. And that proved to be a good advice, because when I just recently reviewed their financial statements, their accounts receivable ledger was quite manageable and not at risk. And the other side of the coin is managing the stock for this business and their cash flow to forward orders, because now they've sold it. In 2 months, they've done half a year's turnover. The question is, do they buy stock for Christmas? Have we been buying all the stock now, and there won't be a Christmas? And they were offered some funding from their bankers, and my initial reaction was ask for double, because we don't know what the future brings.
Correct, exactly.
And if you've got the resources behind you, because it'll just protect you later, because you won't get the money later if the business falls in a heap.
Indeed,
So
very crucial.
So that was managing your balance sheet, and then how much stock to bring in, how many times, you know, like there's all these ratios that one needs to be aware of in your managing the balance sheet. And then if you want to bring partners in to the business, having a strong balance sheet and no conflicting line items that will cause problems for an investor is another avenue that we have to watch out for as well.
Yes, definitely. It is. It is. Thank you very much, David. A couple of things to leverage on that, and it's debtors. Don't carry too much debtors on your balance sheet because you're gonna have recoverability quickly. It's very crucial. Same thing for the stock. More you got stock as well, more you have a risk as well.
Well, G-Star
Yes.
is a prime example. I was talking
Without mentioning a name.
Well, there is public knowledge.
Yes.
Public knowledge. One of my one of my potential clients was looking at helping the liquidator or administrators get rid of their stock. They were sitting on almost $10 million worth of stock in Australia. And the international business was doing well, but the stock was getting older by the day. And they needed a distribution methodology to get rid of the stock and turn it to cash.
Yes, correct.
And that's someone, but that's a failure of their reporting systems from the past because they weren't on top of their stock position. One didn't manage it, and then probably the retail environment also contributed. But the retailer's problem is always stock.
Correct. And in a strategy point of view, and to align that with the business model, if you want to get finance, you got to be at the top of your balance sheet. There is some ratios that are in place for bankers to allow or not allow the finance. Currently, with this global environment, if your company is healthy and if you have a good balance sheet, it's really crucial to assess, to really take the decision. A bit like the case study that you gave and the example that you gave with your client, to really get the finance now, because maybe in the future you won't be able to get the finance. And that's very important. Sometimes people wait the last minute and it's too late to get the finance because bank won't give you the finance due to the fact that you don't have the good result. So it's really crucial to anticipate that as well. And regarding the debt, another risk as well is to not accumulate too much debt.
So just to add to that,
yes,
in this current environment, people have been accessing the government-backed debt
Yep.
to help them through the current period, which is an interest-only facility and then payable over 2.5 years, and the government guarantees half that debt. But the clients that I've dealt with that have taken that loan have been very careful about using it because it's almost like it's their backup plan or their second backup plan, and they'd rather not draw on it because they'll owe the money, and who knows where the future lies.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult situation these days to.
Correct. Very good. Let's move on to the next very important slide, budgeting and cash flow forecasting. So yes, cash flow and forecasting and budgeting is really crucial, particularly right now, and to really have different scenario on your budgeting and cash flow. So we mentioned few points, expose the need for additional working capital, and same, we were talking about financing,
Yeah.
we're just seeing the working capital, and yes?
But the budgeting is also about the what ifs,
Yes.
right? A lot of people have said, I've budgeted out to October, this is what I need to get to me to October. Then the question is, what happens after October? There's a degree of uncertainty now about what will happen in the economy with businesses. Certain businesses will be okay, others, their recovery may be delayed until next year. Our borders won't be open until next year. And one particular client who supplies airlines and school camps is not looking at any recovery this side of 2021. So whatever budgeting we did needs to be extended. There are others that are more fortunate that are in the digital space that are expanding at exponentially and need to gear up their overheads so that they can produce their product for their new customers, and where you have to work out how much do we need before we start seeing revenue, because they're about to go and raise capital.
Yes.
But the question is, do we need 2 mil? Do we need 5 mil?
How much do we need?
And
Correct.
how much equity are we giving away
That's
to
it.
do this? So this is all part of the budgeting process, the forecasting process, so that if you go and talk to someone, you know exactly what you need. And you've got, and your worst case scenario and your medium case scenario. These tools are just help you make those business decisions that will enable you to survive.
Yes, correct.
And when we're talking about budgeting, I'm reminded yesterday about yesterday's webinar.
Yes.
Where we talked about, Daryl talked about sales and marketing.
Yeah.
One of the things you do in tough times is do not cut back on your marketing and your sales budgets, because by pushing forward with them, being innovative in your product range or your online delivery, your customer experience, that's what you don't hold back on that expenditure. Correct,
correct indeed, David. Thank you so much for saying that to everyone, because revenue is crucial in business. So it is really important to keep focusing on the revenue and on the sales and marketing. That's for sure. As David mentioned, forecasting is really important when you as well do capital raising, and in your forecast in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years is crucial, and doing different scenario and really by documenting it and by aligning your financial model with your business model, operating model, you really get clarity, and clarity is power. So,
but let me, more examples.
Yes.
So, client runs a Christmas decorations shop.
Yes.
His business is in 3 months of the year.
Yeah.
How much stock to bring in? Are the supply chains ready to supply from overseas? how much can we bring in? What are our alternatives? And we're doing best case scenario for our forward budget, worst case scenario, and all that's impacting on how much he needs to borrow now that he can get through to Christmas.
Okay.
And then there's so many other case studies like that.
Correct.
But
correct.
different.
Different.
My gym equipment, road bicycles.
Yeah.
How much stock should he bring in?
Correct. Correct.
You know,
But with the same methodology and the same system is really the calculation and of the budget and forecast, and definitely to get different scenarios. What if everything goes bad? What's going to happen? And we'll talk a bit
and that's
later
a
on.
protection from your structure.
Correct, indeed. Thank you. And it's a great word to move to the next slide, to break-even analysis.
Yes.
So, do you know your monthly fixed standing cost? Do you know your sales margin percentage? After allowing for discount and seasonal variations, have you allowed for your living cost in this analysis? As you could be making a profit, but not enough to live.
Well said.
Thank you.
Yes. A lot of the clients I've dealt with over the years that are in business, they're so busy running their business, they haven't stopped to do this analysis. Or some of them do, you know, the petrol retailers, they know how much it costs to run a site. And it's a simple equation for them. The other people that were in retail businesses, they spend $50 here, $100 there. They haven't kept tabs of their personal expenses because they don't get tax deduction for it, and they're taking it out of the business, and they're not getting a clear picture of what they need each week to live. But by knowing the break-even analysis, you can then, when you're looking at opportunities for additional business, you can see what it will add to the business, whether it's worth adding it to the business for the investment in stock or accounts receivable. Is it worth that investment? Because sometimes to make an extra 20 grand, you might have to invest 50 grand in your business. And the numbers, you just add zeros on depending on the size of your business.
Yes, correct, David. And we had some case study as well where we had to calculate break-even analysis to see if it was more worth it to keep the business running or not as well. And that's a crucial. We are here to really we are pragmatic. And we really like simple things. Those 4 questions are really crucial. And you need to be able to, yes, David?
So yeah, the 4 questions. So just going back to the sales margin.
Yes.
So one of my clients was in retail.
Yes.
He was telling me his markups, and everything's marked up twice, 2.5 times. When we're sitting looking at the end of year results, the margins were nowhere near what he was quoting me, because the overall, after the discounting, dropped it right back. And so when we were looking at the amount of stock that he was carrying and how much he was going to order, I said to him, you know, you've got enough stock to do X million dollars turnover. And he looked at me and he said, but I'm not going to do that. I said, then you bought too much stock. Let's go and look at the stock holdings and see where we can cut back.
Yes.
It was a good exercise to do.
Yeah.
And he hadn't, as long as he's been running that business 5-6 years, he hadn't looked at it from that perspective.
Yes. He didn't look at this perspective, and he didn't make this distinction.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's always, and sometimes you can be good at your business, but if you don't have someone to talk to about the results and actually drill down as to why they came out the way they came out, then you are flying in the wind a bit.
Yes, correct. And again, that's really crucial. Just saying that, we come back to the financial statement and we come back to the system, accounting system.
Yes.
If you're really at the top of your accounting system and your financial statement, rather than to be reactive, you're really proactive and you anticipate those facts, you know. So going forward, this client will definitely anticipate. Why?
He's learned how
That's it.
to look at his inventory ledger from a different perspective.
That's it. From his financial statement, he learned how to look at it differently, and now on, he won't do the same mistake. So it's really crucial to have this distinction and perspective. So moving to the next bit, it's crucial improving margins by pricing adjustment and supply chain improvement. Really right now, and again this morning we are talking about value. There is a couple of questions that we put here. Is how price sensitive is your product? And we talked about the price yesterday.
What would you want to?
Would you like?
No. So there's a price trap.
Yes.
It's from yesterday's webinar. That if you're delivering superior service, you can have the same product, but if you have a better customer experience, then people will stay loyal to you. They only leave because you don't engage, or the culture within your business is such that people feel disaffected and that you don't care.
Yeah.
You just and those yes.
Yeah, and
so there's no room to move on the price.
Correct.
And then you lower yourself down, and you're like everyone else.
And correct. And definitely it impacts your sales and your profit down the bottom. It's really crucial at this moment to not get on this price trap and really get a sense of the value of your product and your services, and really get the uniqueness of your business and deliver, no matter what, excellence in customer experience. By delivering excellence in customer experience, you're not on this trap of price. You're not dealing with the price slowing down from competitiveness and so on. No, 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 no. You stand firm on your value of your business, your product and services. And of course, by standing out like that, you can really put the price on a good level, that your margin are correct, and of course that your bottom line, the profit is here. Because after all, a business should be profitable. It is in the definition of a business. So the second question, very crucial as well, is can you buy better by changing supplier? Would you like to say a few words on
well,
that?
that's just the standard thing.
Yes.
There's nothing new about that.
No.
The pizza shop, the mother goes in every Wednesday. She rings around her 4 suppliers to see who's doing the better pricing.
That's it. And it is all about awareness. Okay? We're not, this morning, we're not saying big things, new things, but it's all about awareness. Okay?
And going back to basics.
That's it.
This is basic stuff. There's nothing new. All we're doing is throwing a few case studies at this whole basic and explaining why it works.
Correct.
But all this also just fits under your business plan.
Yes, correct.
Because we're being accountable to your business plan. So
definitely.
So,
and what is simple, I'm a pragmatic strategist, and I really like to make things complex to simple. Why is that? Because it's like that you can apply them in your life and in your business. So saying that, really crucial thing as well, it's the review of the trading terms for customers and secure your money and or get it quicker. We were talking about recoverability and Would you like to say a few words, David?
Well, it's self-evident, isn't it?
It is.
Maybe it's time to look at the back of your invoices that you issue.
Yes.
About
Yes.
the passing of the title to the product you sell, or the intellectual property that you're giving away, or just the terms that so that you can collect it.
Yeah.
Even in my own practice today, I have to say, I've actually changed the word. I have an automated system that goes out through Xero software on Thursday nights talking about, oh, by the way, you haven't paid. I'm actually going to change it around now because I've changed how I go to the clients and say, I need help because everything's slowed up at my end too. And it's just the way you've got to be empathetic with your customer and not upset them, at the same time looking after them and asking for their help.
Yes, correct as well. And it is a crucial moment to review your terms and conditions. And really, I come back to the basic, I come back to the budget, and most importantly, the cash flow forecasting. Right now, I encourage you to not cover all the risk for your clients. And I'm going to say that in different words, is if you sell a product, of course, people will pay for the product and they will receive, and you will receive the product or you will get it on the counter. But if you're a service provider, as us, it is crucial as well to not carry all the risk and to maybe sometimes not get paid as well by the work that we've been doing. So, or by you've been doing. So it is really crucial to, when you start a new project, a service, I encourage you to get at least a deposit, 25%, 50%, for the service that you will deliver to the client. And the client will understand as well, definitely, we are all in the same boat right now.
That's right.
So,
makes it easier.
Yes, correct.
It's an easier discussion.
It is an easier discussion indeed.
No, it's no longer a difficult discussion.
No, correct. And it's easier. I come back to awareness. It is crucial that you get this awareness and get your clarity on your terms and conditions. And like that, you will get a better cash flow and, of course, a better health in your company. So on that, we're going to jump on a new slide that is covering one topic that is very close to our heart for the good of humanity and the planet, and seeing it from the financial point of view and the cost-benefit analysis of embracing the Sustainable Development Goals. So for those of you who don't know yet the Sustainable Development Goals, it is 17 goals that have been created in 2015 by the United Nations, and with all a group of entrepreneurs like Richard Branson and Bill Gates and many others, big player of that. Yes, David, would you like to say a few words? Yes, I feel it.
So, at the top end of town,
yes,
they're embracing this. It's about no poverty, no starvation, gender equality. There are a lot of goals in this that that are coming out at the top end of town.
Yeah. Corporate and
So the computer manufacturers are going to their chip suppliers and saying, prove to us you're not using slave labor. We want to know that you're paying your people appropriately. Coca-Cola is making some of their product with recycled plastic.
Yeah.
There are others that are philanthropy is a big piece of this in supporting different communities around the world, in Australia. And the young people, I was at a board meeting the other night, there was a young person there and she was saying charity is a big thing in her peer group, and she was 23.
Oh,
So the next group of consumers coming out of the education system are going to have a focus on these sustainable development goals, because that's what they're learning about living in a sustainable world. And if you can be a participant in those goals and embrace some of them and make it public, staff will want to work with you. Customers will want to buy from you in preference. And the whole range of other benefits. And then there's the feel good part of it as well.
Fulfillment.
Fulfillment, yes, because you'll feel good about what you're doing and you've delivered something that's immeasurable.
Correct.
You can't measure, you can't measure that. And I think, but it's also, so the cost of not embracing something will be that you won't have the customers. It'll be harder to, because the culture won't work.
Correct.
So I think we're going to be doing something along this lines, Laurent, in the future.
Yes.
Doing presentations on how you can embrace these sustainable development goals.
Yes.
And but that's not for today.
No, it's
we
not.
Just wanted to touch on it because it forms part of
our core
values. But it's not the financial model, but it will give results to your financial model.
Yes. Thank you very much, David. And in just a few additional words to finalize, and it's just something that is very close to our heart. I think you're gonna get aware that here, it's a new economy. It's a new mindset of people. Your clients, your customer, they change their mindset. And as well, your business is a reflection of you and the impact that you want to get to give to humanity and the planet. As an SME, it is very easy to adapt, agile and flexible. Rather than to have this preconceived idea of sustainable development goals and maybe the cost associated with it, I invite you to have a paradigm shift and look at it as well on a positive and beneficial perspective. For the marketing, for the team, for the result, it is definitely beneficial. And we are creating our future. SME in Australia represent 98% of the business. It is 98% of the business. So it is crucial that now, more than ever, now in this time of change, that as well SME embrace the sustainable development goals and align their business and strategies, for their future growth and drive with the sustainable development goals. And we are very pleased to have Michelle Stevens with us that will talk on the 30th June, and she will announce the new coming guidance and services that will assist SME looking forward. So just to, as we given a lot of golden nuggets and tips on this webinar, but we want to give more because our aim is to add value and help you on thriving and make your business successful and your life as well happy. Yes?
So going back to sustainable development goal, number 17,
yes.
Sharing and collaborating. So we didn't cover, thank you to all our speakers.
Yes, correct.
Because they're collaborating and sharing knowledge.
Yes.
In furtherance of one of the goals.
Yes, thank you very much, David. To mention that, it's a great thing. We did mention it on the web page, but goal 17 is crucial, and as well the goal 5 gender equality. We had 6 women and 6 men, so we are very pleased about that, because gender equality is very close to our heart for David and I, and at Successful Business Advisor. So just coming back to more giving, it's so good. Well done, David. Thank you very much for mentioning that. I'm very happy about that. We're giving a free strategy session. You will receive an email. We'll send it to all it's a quick 30 minutes just to help you on the status of where you are at, okay? And really give you some guidance on the structure that you can get and visualize a real clear plan. Again, clarity is power, and progress is happiness. So it is crucial that you have a visual plan, and we are here to help you with that. We give you a few tools. Business Canvas is one of the tools that is really crucial. And again, on a talk earlier this year, we had an amazing entrepreneur that was in one of our presentations. And after, he gave us the feedback, and he said to me, he said to us, wow, I didn't look at my business this way, but by looking at the business, my business with the Business Canvas, that gave me different angles and benefits to run my business. So by saying that, we'll send you a link to book your free session, a 30 minutes strategy session. And we're gonna invite back Maurice to start the Q&A. So I'm gonna stop sharing the full screen, and we're back in full video with you, Maurice. Great to see you again, Maurice.
And you, wow, incredible. I'm sitting here taking lots of notes. I think I finished 1 pen already. I've been writing down. So I don't know how sustainable that is, but thank you. So I've enjoyed immensely learning from both of you, as I knew I would be. It's just overwhelming, the amount of information. Likewise, there's been lots of people online who have been asking questions and making comments. So perhaps before I get to the questions, and in anticipation of that, if anybody wants me to ask a question on their behalf, please put it at the chat at the bottom, and I'm happy to do that. Let me share some comments that we've had throughout. So we had a comment from Danny Campbell, who said that 100% agree sustainable is a very important piece of the pie moving forward, along with community. And I would echo that from my viewpoint. Sustainability, and it's a word that's overused, and I know the two of you use it in a very specific, strategic way, and look forward to you sharing more of that down the track, is definitely part of a landscape moving forward. We also had the questions asked about the notion of supply chain. So here's the first of our questions. We understand that supply chains are being disrupted around the world. Do SMEs have a long-term adaptive strategy to ensure their survival? And I throw that out to either of you.
Thank you, Maurice. And thank you for the person that asked the question. David, would you like to go first?
So I've had a couple of people over the last 3 months say, oh, the supply chain's broken, but they've found that supply's actually restarted. And it hasn't been, it was disrupted, not stopped. And so their businesses were put on hold, and things are now starting to come through. So I haven't seen many, but as to whether they're ready to change suppliers, I know a shoe retailer, a buyer for a shoe retailer, he's adapting annually. Some years he's buying out of Pakistan, other years out of Eastern Europe, or Portugal and Spain. It's where they chase it. So there are some SMEs that are very adaptive and others that are just responsive.
Yes. Thank you, David. One thing that we mentioned is the question, can you go better by changing supplier? And right now, it is really crucial to have a plan B and even a plan C, because you never know what's going to happen. So yes. It is really, as entrepreneur, you take risk, but it is important to measure that risk and to reduce that risk at the maximum. So by having several suppliers behind the core supplier, and by maybe allow some percentage, and by saying, okay, look, I'm gonna use this main supplier for 80% of my stock, 10% of my stock from another supplier, and 5 and 5 on a couple of other. Like that, as well, you can you have a margin. You can have a pivot, you know, table plan, and as well, same thing. Crucial to look at the location. Location take things in consideration, like the freight. If there is disruption in the freight, what's going to be happening? How you can move and anticipate. As an SME, as an entrepreneur, you got to be agile, flexible, and adapt. And really to be at the top of those kind of risks that could be too hard to confront if you are reactive. Thank you, Ross.
So thank you for that. So another question that's just come in, something that's near and dear to my heart around the world of innovation.
Yes.
The question asks, how are we encouraging innovation in SME in Australian practice?
Very good.
That's a good question. I just, somehow or other, I'm dealing with these people that are being innovative. How do you encourage innovation? I think putting forward a statement as simple as reality is for people that lack imagination. If you haven't, and it comes back to what I said at the start also about visualizing what is. And one of our speakers put a quote from John F. Kennedy on Wednesday. At his funeral, his brother eulogized him and said, "My brother would say, some people see things as they are and ask why. I dream things that never were and ask why not."
That's it.
So the innovation comes from looking at what you do, having a coach that talks to you about your business. Brainstorming is where the innovation comes from. Sitting in your own environment, in your cocoon, you can read everything you want, but until someone pushes your buttons at a verbal level, you won't know, or the opportunity will pass you by. And now there are so many opportunities. That's my view.
Thank you, David. Thank you. It is a bit a question that is for the business model, and that we covered previously on some presentations. There is one tool that we use is Ikaige, this concept of being, that is really useful to find innovation that will assist the world and that you like and so on. That's a way a bit of developing innovation. I think how we assist innovation is what we do right now. Is by helping SME entrepreneurs to get a better perspective. You create your reality. The quote that mentioned David, it's from Albert Einstein, for the information of everyone. And it is definitely a very important quote that I love as well and embrace. So just for everyone, and David mentioned it, you can be victim of your environment or really be a master and create your business and your future. Here, there is a couple of angles to look at things. You can look at the economic development and all what's happening in the world as a victim, or you can look at it as an entrepreneur, and on a crisis, it creates opportunities. And it is definitely, there is so many opportunities out there. And there is so many needs, new needs out there. I think if someone would like to find an idea to innovate, there is just one question that the person needs to answer. It's what the world needs right now. And definitely what the world needs right now is different than a few months ago. So, and just a final tip as well for you innovators or maybe future entrepreneurs, I invite you to, what's really important is to be close to your peer. Surround yourself with other entrepreneurs because they will assist you, they will support you, and it's very important. Don't be alone by running your own show. That's the worst thing. You get yourself in the corner, be with other entrepreneurs, and bouncing idea as well, mastermind, it's what we are developing as well to create innovation. You gotta get mastermind and really the word synergy. Synergy is 1 + 1 equals 3 and 4 and 5 and more. So for innovation, it is crucial as well. Any other question, Maurice?
So thank you for that. Incredible, again, answers. If I can just get a small plug-in, and that's on the 29th, when I come on to talk about the future. One of the things I'm going to take you through is my process. I've developed a 7-step process, which takes us literally from the moment we think we might have an idea through to commercialization. And I'd love you to come on the 29th at 11 a.m. and to hear about that and also what is ahead for us and how we can capture it. But back to you. So that was my plug. Indulge me. So in a way of wrapping up, because we're getting close to our time, I want to take the moderator's opportunity to ask you the final question. And to both of you from me, given that we are going through unusual times, tell the audience, tell us how you would like the world to have changed after COVID.
No.
You want me to start?
Yes. I want to think.
I would like that the word elevate consciousness. And most importantly, ethical business consciousness. Because we saw in the past, we are aware of the past now, and unfortunately we are reacting on a lot of things from the past. So business, we've been to the religion, we've been to the government, and they've been there, they've done that, but business and entrepreneurs, it is the reason why United Nations did the Sustainable Development Goals. They understood that it's a big driver of the planet and the humanity. So by elevating business consciousness and being aware of the impact of our business, it will be beneficial for us right now, but most importantly, it will be beneficial for our legacy and our children and the future generation. So my ideal world for me is to have a world that is full of this new generation of entrepreneurs that want to make a good impact for the world and the humanity. That's for me.
I like that. Thank you. That's perfect.
It.
That's very good. I suppose the news is so full of what's wrong in the world today, because that's all what's news. You know, you look at what's going on in America and you become despondent, and around the world, and how governments have reacted I think this has brought out the best in people and the worst in people. And it's and unfortunately the news feeds are all full of what they can publish as news. So
yeah, but
I wholly endorse what you say.
One little last tip for everyone. Darrell mentioned it from one of the most important flip charts from Money and You, and it starts from the beliefs.
Yes.
And I really invite you and everyone that is watching this to shift your belief, and rather than have this scarcity belief, have this belief of abundance. Abundance for all. Thank you, Maurice.
Thank you, Maurice.
So on behalf of the audience and all of us speakers, I want to thank both of you, not only for today, for sharing your wisdom so openly, but more importantly, for organising this entire event festival. I mean, this 3 weeks of learning. Really, without both of you, this would not exist, and that's not an overstatement. It was born from an idea that you both had and bring it to fruition. So on behalf of everybody, thank you for organising it, and thank you for allowing me to have my small part in it, and I'm sure every other speaker feels exactly the same way. And most importantly, I want to thank all of you for coming online, because without you, we're just having coffee between us and having a great chat. You are out to really being a robust conversation. Also, look out for the email you're about to receive after this conversation. I, on behalf of our two speakers, David and Laurent, would love you to take advantage of that 30-minute conversation with them and to deep dive into some of the thoughts and questions that you have. And of course, to join us over the next 2 weeks as we continue to explore what a future landscape might be like. So thank you again to both of you for an incredible presentation. Well done. Thank you to our audience.
Thank you, everyone.
And we look forward to all of you joining us over and over again over the next 2 weeks. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.